This is topic 5, advertising and message strategy, part 3. We concluded in part 2 at this particular comparison advertisement, and we will pick up again here. Okay, so just to run through part 2, in part 2 we talked about using advertising strategically. We looked at Vaughan, earlier FCB matrix of 1980. And then we followed that up with the Roster-Percy grid of 1991, followed by 1997. And each one of these, they talked about the level of risk. Risk came across as extremely important. However, in the more recent one, the Roster-Percy grid, they talked about whether there was like an informational or transformational nature, or whether it was a level of brand awareness was evident. We follow then into message strategy. So what is a message strategy? It is an idea about how to creatively and persuasively communicate a brand message to an audience. We followed this up then with the brief. We looked at different types of source credibility and the sleepers effect. This was followed then by the structural elements, the 4 types of structural elements in an advertising message, and we followed this up by appeals. We are now based at the comparative advertising appeal, and this essentially was based on the Aldi advertisements, which are very funny, but they are a comparative element of comparing a particular product with that of their competitors. This is going to follow up with a different type of packaging. This could be a bit more explicit than we would have used before, but let me just highlight. So this is what cigarettes packaging looked like. The form of advertisement used was very bright, very positive, very happy, and for some reason they have children on the front of these packaging. However, you and I know, whether you're a smoker or non-smoker today, you know that packaging on cigarettes is extremely upsetting, and they do this to try and persuade people to give up smoking. So you can see there's no such images today of fathers and sons. And the whole idea, just like dad. It's amazing how far we have moved, and now we have actually some more graphic and possibly more horrific advertisements out there on packaging. This is linked into message appeals. There is a fear appeal, which demonstrates a physical danger or a social disapproval associated with a certain behaviour. In this case was the example of smoking. It has a level of shock. It uses unexpected actions or imagery which does not conform to social norms, attention and publicity or cognitive engagement. And we have different advertisements out there that deliberately go out to shock us. And I think Paddy Powers does that in many forms. There's also humour appeals. Humour is used to attract attention, stimulate interest, and foster positive moods, also to get people talking. And at Christmas, some of the Christmas advertisements that are linked in tend to have maybe a humour advertisement, bring in pets, etc. And this is where the advertisement animation appeals used to be visually interesting and to offer something a bit different. Here we have a prime example of using sort of like an animation approach, the cat, the animal appeal, the behaviour, and every time someone opens a packet of digestives, it's like having this particular pet or this fluffy kitten coming out and to play with us. Again, this is possibly my favourite advertisement that links into emotion, it links into heritage, the culture, etc. It just it shows a young boy going out to buy a loaf of bread, and it takes him through levels of history and culture. The music that's used that is used in conjunction with this Hovis advertisement is very engaging and very moving. One of those advertisements, and the links to these advertisements will be put up for you under topic 5. Then we have message appeals and fantasy appeals, and I think, in my opinion, and you may wish to debate this, but I think Marks and Spencer do this really well. I think their music to create a mood, and their fantasy of this delicious foods, and using really creative food advertisements work, and they resonate with people. And they call this Adventures in Imagination. Again, I will provide you to a link of some of Marks and Spencer's finest advertisements. So advertising tactics, they have the informational motives. So consumers are motivated by a need for information to help them make purchase decisions. This is related to the level of involvement and perceived risks, the need to provide relevant information. So we have a motive, a problem removal, a problem avoidance, incomplete satisfaction, a mixed approach avoidance, and normal depletion. So the possible emotional state with a problem removal is anger or relief. A possible emotional statement for problem avoidance is fear to relaxation. Possible emotional statement for incomplete satisfaction is that from disappointment to optimism. The mixed approach is from the guilt to the peace of mind, and normalization is mild annoyance to convenience, and we know this. And so what the advertisement is trying to do is to provide this swing, providing through the motive to a possible emotional state. The transformational motives, however, slightly differ. These are related to consumers' feelings and emotions. They offer brand promises to enhance or improve the user of the brand. So the motive could be sensory gratification, intellectual stimulation, or social approval. And then you have the related possible emotional states. So dull to elated, bored to excited, or apprehensive to flattered. Okay, so you can see how some of these can be played about with through this more transformational motive approach. Finally, we come on to, very simply, and possibly one of the most important aspects, is the user-generated message. So user-generated, UGM, user-generated message, or user-generated content, an increasing number of brands' focus messages, including ads, are created by us, the consumer. So brands are increasingly using consumers to provide ideas for upcoming ads. Doritos has done this numerous times to crash the Super Bowl, okay? So they come up with these weird, wacky, fun, consumer-generated advertisements. So the dominant motivation, there's 3 consumer motivations to create ads to the user-generated messages. So there's intrinsic enjoyment, and basically here people are primarily creative and enjoy the process for the satisfaction and personal reward the activity brings. They are not so interested in what becomes of their work. They do this because they enjoy it. Then you have the self-promotion. In this situation, people generate advertisement materials as a means to an end. It may be that the activity is part of the process of attracting the attention of others and possibly a potential employer. So self-promotion, you could link that into your LinkedIn approach, whereas possibly you would say that your Facebook material is gone into your intrinsic enjoyment, that ideally you wouldn't want an employer to see that type of material. Perception change, rather than achieve a tangible outcome, some advertising is generated by people in order to influence the way others think or feel. Those are the intangible outcomes. We can't feel, touch them or smell them, but we can feel them. The goal, or sense them. The goal is to change opinions, sentiments or attitudes, but for altruistic reasons rather than personally driven career-based goals. Okay, so you can see 3 different consumer motivations to create ads. And a lot of the times people will do this out of sheer enjoyment, such as the intrinsic enjoyment, however some for self-promotion, or maybe even for perception change. And on that note, we're going to conclude there. This is the third and final part of topic 5, advertising and message strategy. You're welcome to go back and revisit each one of those parts of topic 5 at any time through these particular links I've provided to you under topic 5 and through the lecture's messages. Okay, and on that note, we will start our next lecture, which is Wednesday, the 7th of March. We will be looking at topic 6, which is linked into sales promotions and other tools. And in this particular class on March 7th, we will have our students from Northern Kentucky University to join us.